Hey, good. Let's get right into it. So the purpose of this video is to basically donate time as an attorney to help those who need answers related to Social Security benefits. And the main thing that I do here is I get about, 5 to 7 minute calls where I answer legal questions about SSDI and SSI. But here are some of the basic rules when you call in. Okay. So you got to go ahead and have your legal question ready. No stacking of questions. Use a fake name throughout the call. And also, please remember that when you call in, go ahead and mute your TV, your computer, whatever, so that you and I can just talk directly through the phone. You get about 5 to 7 minutes. If you need more time than that, then there's a mini contract below, where basically you can go ahead and hire me for a half an hour or an hour to go ahead and go through the legal situation that you're having. Now, with that said, it's a pretty simple setup. You go ahead and call the law firm. I'm going to go ahead and put the phone number in there real quick. It is 407 279 1754. Again, 407 279 1754. Princess Diana, also thank you for the super duper $2 donation. That's absolutely amazing. I love seeing that. Princess Diana has been with us for a very, very, very long time. I see Leanne is there. Leanne has been here with us even longer. Leanne was with me back when I lived in a cave and I basically had like, I don't know, 100 subscribers. And it was just super, super interesting times. I was doing a lot of videos from my Camry, my Prius. Here's the first caller. Speaker is on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question?
Just say run a stop sign, no seatbelt, anything. And the officer that pulled you over admits to, let's just say trying to murder you.
Okay.
He'd never said anything about it. Is the court obligated to acknowledge that inadvertent confession?
I mean, so I guess my first question with this whole situation is, do you have the audio and video recording, of him actually doing that?
It's all concrete documentation. The court didn't acknowledge his confession in any way. That's what the question was about. Are they obligated to? And the only way to acknowledge his confession was to write a letter to the editor, which was printed in the local newspaper. And that allowed me to get a lawyer to litigate. And I wasn't awarded anything in federal court because the federal court ruled that the city I was in wasn't responsible because the officer had never been to police school or certified. However, he was terminated for life. But it left me disabled. My life is destroyed. And I'm going through continuing harassment from this small town court in present. It's disrupting. It's causing me a great amount of stress. Is there anything I can do about this continuing harassment?
Well, I mean, when it comes to continuing harassment, what are they doing?
Me and my brother co-own a house. He has controlling interest. He refuses to take any responsibility for upkeep and maintenance. He refuses to allow a government grant do the repairs free of cost. And he refuses to sell and give me my half. He's just being a bully. He owns houses in other cities. He's wealthy. He just hates me. And I tried to reason with him a couple of years ago. Hey, can we, talk about this? And he twisted it, and he never told me to leave. No authorities were ever called. No close proximity. No physical contact. However, he was awarded a restraining order. And as of this July 25th, I have been to court 3 times for this. The original ruling was when a year went by, if there were no violations, it would be dismissed. A year went by, there were no violations. We went to court last month. It was changed from restraining order to criminal assault, and I have to go back to court next month. I'm terrified.
But what were the grounds? What were the grounds? Because for him to get that to begin with, there had to be evidence that you did something wrong. For them to then rank it up, what are they saying that you did?
It just says assault by threat. I simply told him that I would defend myself if he ever put his hands on me again. And he says that was a threat. I just said if he ever puts his hands on me again, I'm not going to allow it.
So here's the
let's
thing.
talk about this like grown-ups.
Here's the thing.
Without him putting his hands on me.
Whenever I get these criminal law questions about, basically interactions, potential violence, stuff like that, nobody is as innocent as they actually tell me they are. So I'm going to assume there's more to that story of what the court relied on to say, you said something and he didn't like it, and, he got that heightened charge against you. I'm just going to assume that they had more evidence against you. Are you living in the house? Yeah, are you living in the house?
I'm living in the house.
Okay.
So it needs work.
Are you working on finding a new place to rent, or like what's the gig here? Because
if he would agree to sell, I would be happy to leave. 4 years ago, he started telling me I should move somewhere else.
But he has controlling interest, right?
Yeah, and every time I see him, I say, "Give me a reason to move. We own this house."
And he gave you a reason. So let me just
laughed at me.
No, he gave you a reason. That's why he's filing these legal things against you. He gave you the reason. So, all right. So realistically here, all right, you own a smaller percentage of the house than he does. What is your percentage ownership?
It's 50-50. I just cannot force a sale.
So you don't have a lesser. You have the equivalent, the same amount, correct?
Yes.
All right.
I
So
can afford to petition the judge for a partition action.
Okay, so then, why don't you then push it to go to some sort of auction? If you're that desperate to get out of it, you won't get as much money.
It'd be $2,500, and I can't afford it.
Okay, so
I
basically,
can keep my car on the road.
So basically, your brother has you checkmated into a position. But here's my question: how much are you paying to actually live there?
I just pay the bills, sir.
So does he pay any bills? Does he live there?
No, he won't step foot in the place.
So what are the total bills of the place?
Around $600.
So how much in benefits do you get per month?
I get a little over $1,000.
So if you had to move to go pay rent somewhere,
I could not afford it.
Right.
He's just being a bully.
If
he would just agree to sell, I would move somewhere. I would move out of this town. Like I said, it's the same court that didn't acknowledge the man confessing to premeditated attempted murder by buzzing in the back of my head with a 3-foot-long flashlight in 1994. They didn't acknowledge it in any way. The only way to document it was write a letter to the editor, but that saved my life. It saved my life. The officer had to eventually pay me $5,000. So I got his job at $5,000.
And remember, that has nothing to do with the current case of the whole house situation. That's like a totally different gig.
It's the same court, same judge.
It's the exact same judge from 1994 to the current?
Yes, I'm being maliciously prosecuted.
So
it's a bully.
let's
been on disability my entire life because I'm a victim of shaken baby. My brother's 3 years older than me, and he caused traumatic brain injury when I was 1 year old.
All right, so let's get back because you keep taking me way off of what the actual issue here is. The issue is, what can you do? So the main thing you're going to have to do is get the money together to force a sale, which means you're going to have to reach out to religious groups, corporate sponsors, nonprofits to cover your expenses at that house so that you can start to save up money. Like, how much money do you have saved up so far to go ahead and petition to go ahead and have the house sold?
I owe money. I had to borrow $1,000 a couple months ago to get my car fixed, and I'm still paying that off. I can't get anything saved.
So you're not ahead right now. So I guess the next thing I would say is this: why don't you work a deal with your brother where you move out, but then you guys rent the house and you split whatever the rental fees, the profit would be from the rent?
He won't even speak to me. This is his plan, but he doesn't want me involved in any way.
Well, if he won't speak to you and he's got a federal charge against you, So, you got to understand, man, too, like at the end of the day, you are kind of living there without having to pay any rent and stuff like that. And he's not basically getting any benefit of that house. You know what I mean? Like you get that part.
To fall in.
Yeah.
For me to have to leave the premises because it's in so bad a shape. And then I know he's just going to spend $50,000 fixed up and rent it out forever, and I'll be out of my inheritance. He doesn't need this. He owns other houses in other cities.
But that's not the legal standard, though. It's not about Remember, so legally, not emotional stuff, because you're throwing all this emotional crap at me that doesn't matter in a court. At
I'm
the
sorry.
end of the day,
But that's what
okay,
he's doing on this restraining order.
yeah, he's trying to
making stuff up.
strangle you out of it. So what are
Yeah,
you
he's
going to do
making
to
stuff
force
up.
him? All right, so all right, I can tell from this, whole situation. So look, if you have a means to file a petition with the court to go ahead and force a sale, then you're going to have to go that direction. Otherwise, you're going to have to find a way to get this thing fixed up. Have you reached out to nonprofits about fixing up the house? There's a bunch of them out there. They come out, they replace a roof, build a wall, all that stuff.
If I own the house outright, if he would sign it into my
Oh,
name,
no,
I
no,
could
no,
get
no,
that
no, no.
done.
You do own the house outright because you own 50%. You're the one sitting in it. He's not there. You're there. Why aren't you putting effort
There are
in?
government grants available.
Yeah, there's government grants, but there's also groups that come. They come and repair the house and do this and that. So you're going to say I can't contact him, but at the same time, this group can't come in and fix it.
I'm dizzy all the time. It's all I can do to stay awake 8 hours a day. This buzzing into the back of my head just absolutely nearly killed me.
All right, so your job, I know, but you keep going in motion mode, and then you go into I can't do it, even though you clearly can. Your job tomorrow is to call 3 nonprofits that help with rebuilding houses. You're going to have a list of all the things that are wrong with the house, and you're going to see what they can cover. You're going to take photos of it. You're going to email it off to them. You're going to get them aware of it and see if they can begin working on it. Okay?
Google nonprofits.
There's nonprofits out there that rebuild homes for disabled. There's nonprofits out there that work with disabled on basic functional things. Even the VA has people that will come out and work with people. But all right, the point I'm getting at is you need to actually keep this house and live in it. So get it fixed up. If you can't talk with your brother, there's no way to validate with him work that's going to be done on the house. He created that problem. He locked you out. That's fine. Get the house fixed, live there for the rest of your life. Otherwise, you got to pay rent somewhere else, Yeah,
that's what I'd really like to do. But this cop putting me on disability, there's nothing can be done about that. It's expired. It's over with. I actually have a charity organization, a business license I renew every year, sir, that says FATAL, F-A-T-A-L, and the words are printed on this legal document, failed attempted assassinations by the law. I'm trying to get on podcasts and tell this story, maybe save other people from getting murdered and disabled. The George Floyds, the Tyrese Nichols, the Susan Matthews,
But what is your job tomorrow? What is your job tomorrow? Remember, look.
Google 3 nonprofit.
No. Okay, good. Remember, you're talking about nonprofits, and you have a nonprofit, and you have this other thing, and you're saying at the same time you got all this fog of the mind, difficulty concentrating. No extras. No extras. You got to fix the house and live in the house. That's it. No extras.
I slept at 7 o'clock this day, p.m.
No emotions, no fluff, no this or that. Your only job is get the house fixed, continue to live in it. That's it. Because if your brother, who could be much more aggressive and force you out in many other ways, is just saying, leave me alone, you live there, you take care of it, then, kick the ball in the goal. Get it fixed up with the nonprofits and help groups. You can't reach him. You're not allowed to at this point. Fix up the house,
I'd just like to see the charges dropped. I'm terrified of what's going to happen.
We're off again. All right. What is your goal tomorrow?
I'm going to do that.
All right.
I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it?
Google 3 charities that'll fix up my house for me, nonprofit.
Good. Do you have a list of everything that's wrong with the house?
It's just the roof. Really, the roof needs repair. It's something me and a handyman could do ourselves, but I can't find the handyman.
Okay.
Like I said, I slept at 7 p.m. today. I went to sleep 10 o'clock last night p.m. and slept till I don't know, what's that, 16 hours?
All right, so we're at going on 12, 13 minutes. You know what you got to do. I'm going to take the next caller, good sir, but get on it, okay?
Okay, thank you for speaking, sir.
Thank you, good sir. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Excellent. We're going to go ahead and take the next call real quick. We did have somebody call in. Let me see if I can get them on the phone real quick. Hold on. Putting the speaker on real quick. Let's see if we can get them on the phone. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get this person on the phone real quick. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question?
Yes. Okay. I applied for Social Security disability back in January this year.
Okay.
Still haven't heard anything. I guess the earliest that they said would be 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going back, into end of August,
mm-hmm.
and still haven't heard anything.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got a denial. I haven't got anything. So is that normal? Like, are they that backed up?
Yeah,
and it's hard to get through.
So with people who don't have an attorney, they don't file the DDS forms ahead of time. They don't file for expedited treatment. They basically don't get all of the initial stuff in. So, I mean, that's pretty standard because remember, if you don't have an attorney that's actually pushing the claim, you're pretty much back, of the line because you don't know what to submit. You don't know when to submit it. You're probably at DDS. They just probably haven't sent out the DDS documentation yet. So, I mean, have you received a notification that says you've reached DDS or no?
I haven't. I was hurt back in 2020. I was in a big work. I fell 5 stories, hit a concrete floor.
Oof. Ouch.
And and so that's where in 20. So what happened? I filed it in 2020. They wouldn't give it to me because they said work comp and Social Security, were basically the same thing. Then this year, I talked to another representative, and she told me, she said, "Hey, that's not true. You could have received both. So it's just my case. So I've been trying to do this for 5 years, basically."
Wow. What's your date last insured?
My date. What was that? You said my date last insured?
So your date last insured is the last date in which you can claim SSDI benefits by proving that you're disabled on the date or before the date. So you might want to call them and ask them what your DLI is because you haven't been working for 5 years or more, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it was a terrible, one of my best friends, he passed away. It was just a huge accident, and I was disabled from that accident.
I gotcha. So, I mean, yeah, in this situation, what you really want to watch out for is your date last insured. So go learn about the date last insured. You're probably realistically reaching DDS now. You should go research Eisenigloo -2-1-40. Again, I-2-1-40. And then, I mean, do you already have an attorney? Because if you have an attorney who's taking this long without having the SSA reach back out, that is a problem. If you don't have an attorney, that's not uncommon.
Yeah, I don't have an attorney. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting counsel, with this because,
Sure.
Here's the thing. I have all kind of doctors and things. I'm missing appointments because I'm paying out of pocket. I can't afford to keep doing that. With my back doctor, I got, I broke my foot. I ripped my shoulder out and I broke my back from L2 to L5 back in 2020 from the accident. So I got 3 different, I got 2 different doctors for my back and for my shoulder and foot. And it's expensive. And I'm calling up there like, hey, well, what's going on? I'm one person. I really need this because, it happened when I was at work and no fault of my own, of course. I was 5 stories up in the air.
Yeah. I mean, that's massive. That's a huge drop.
Right. So I just can't get an answer, and I've been waiting and waiting. And so I refiled in January, like I said, because they wouldn't give it to me when I had work comp at the same time.
Gotcha. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, what people don't realize is like, people always comment like, when should I file for SSDI benefits? Immediately, because there's a huge wait time. And, basically some of them are hybrid allowance with these other programs. Some of the other programs cut off and then you go on SSDI benefits, but immediately, because if you don't, you literally end up in a situation where, you can't get it because your date last insured is run,
Yeah. So what could, I was just looking for some kind of, good advice. That way I could be proactive. Tomorrow's Friday, after, Monday morning, just to see, is there any kind of information or advice that you can give me to to find out where I'm at in the process or get an attorney?
Well, I mean, I can't look into your file unless I have rep docs, because then I can't, see inside their system. So bottom line is, I mean, so this is what I would do if I were you. Tomorrow in the morning, I would call the SSA and ask them, essentially, where's your claim at? Is it at the local field office? Is it at DDS? And then basically, what is the DDS's phone number and extension number? Now, if you're at the DDS, which you probably are, building unit, which is basically where they build the claim, it's like this group that just, huddles all these cases together until they have enough, until they have an opening where they can assign you to somebody. The bottom line is, basically find out where you're at by calling and asking if you're a DDS. And then, you can always give me a call and I can kind of walk you through what that means, what's coming up next, what you have to work on. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Well, man, thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely gonna be on it tomorrow. And just the verb is the DDS. Just me being who I am, I don't, know those, what DDS is. This is all new, basically, to me. So,
yeah. Well, no worries, good sir. Well, we'll catch up tomorrow. We'll rock and roll from there. And sounds good,
Okay. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, good sir. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
You do the same. Bye-bye.
Perfect. We're going to go ahead and take the next call real quick. And basically get them rocking and rolling. Let's see what we got here. Accept the phone call. Speaker is on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I called it a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
and you had me call your accountant.
Sure.
Remember, I said I was Ted Nugent.
Oh, sure. So how did it go?
Well, he said the same thing as you. He really didn't know.
I don't remember the backstory though, so give me a little bit of an understanding. Because remember, I do thousands of claims, so like when people think of like me, sometimes they think I'm just like, remember, like by the time the day is done.
I know.
Yeah. So yeah, walk me through
I
it.
understand.
Yeah.
I thought you might recognize my voice. Most people do, but that's okay. I told you about how my wife was on SSI, and we were getting paid by a state program to take care of our son and another person.
Okay.
I don't know if that rings a bell to you or not.
I mean, I've had a couple of people with that scenario over the past month. So give me a little bit more detail. Yeah.
Okay. Well, my question was if it was legal or not. And you didn't know for sure. And we discussed how, nobody really knows for sure. So you gave me your accountant's number, and he didn't know either. He said, just like you did, he said, it sounds like you're okay, but just really not sure.
So what was the original legal question? Walk me through the legal parameter, because I don't remember it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out any more to tell you except what I already have.
Oh no, give me a summary. Give me a summary of what we've gone over, because I don't remember it at all. Because you got to remember, I had to write a brief for 12,000 pages and a brief for 8,000 pages just this week alone. So like I don't remember at all. Yeah, what other stuff we went over? Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Well, that was really basically it. I don't know what else to tell you, to be honest. That's it.
Well, give me the walkthrough. Give me the fact pattern.
Well, well, like, my wife is on Social Security income, and this money is tax free. It's money from the state to take care of our son that's autistic, and we're also taking care of another young man the same age. And we were just wondering if, when they start checking our bank accounts and they're able to see it all, if we're going to get in trouble or not. The lady told us that we work under and first got us in the program. She said that it was tax-free money, so there was no problem. But we know how that goes.
Yeah.
You think there's no problem, and then there is.
Right. Right. So, I mean, I would say this, like, I don't know what the state-based funds are. I'm not sure exactly what the program's funds are. With the statute that created it, did you pull up the statute, or the law that was created for it and read specifically how they worded it?
I don't even know how to go about that.
Hmm. How many years have you been receiving these funds and nobody cared?
I'm gonna say like 4, maybe
Okay. I mean,
3 or 4.
so like the thing is this, like at the end of the day, if nobody's really aware and noticing and caring, so as an attorney, like if somebody was paying me to go figure it out, what I would do is I go find the specific statute or thing that passed into law and what it said. Now it's either going to say, treat them this way when it comes to taxes and other benefits. But you have to understand too, usually the SSA will go ahead and write something about it as an executive, order in the form of an emergency message to their field offices and regional offices where they'll say, hey, if you see this money in their account, because remember, they're supposed to look into the kid accounts, then also the parents for the deeming process. But if you see this money, hey, ignore it. It's not countable. But if they haven't released one of those, it's one of those things where you got to go back to how it was originally passed. And if it was passed at the state level, then you have to remember that the feds don't always have to follow what the state passes in how they view it. So then you get into the tricky, swampy water of, is this something where realistically, the state is going to win with how they actually set it up? Or is this one of those things where, oof, this thing could be bad and I could get nipped because the feds see it as income that I'm not supposed to have?
Right.
Yeah.
Walter, could I pay you to look into this?
Yeah, so I do those 1-hour consultations and 30-minute consultations. When it comes to figuring out and finding the law of when it was passed and stuff, it sometimes takes more than an hour because, and this is state-based, right? These are state funds.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, sometimes it takes more than an hour. And the reason why is that just at the end of the day, some of this stuff is very hidden. Sometimes you have to call the legislators, house, find out what's up with it, where they actually have it, what's going on with it. Then you have to request it and stuff like that. So my suggestion would be to contact the state house and ask them specifically, hey, when was this passed into law? And then see if you can get a copy of it. If you can do that and then get it over to me, it becomes a lot cheaper for me then to read it, figure it out, and then go from there.
Okay, the state house. What do you mean by that?
Well, who is the group that actually passed this benefit into law?
So who do I call?
Well, I mean, if you're not sure, it's state-based. It's not a county program. It's not a town program. It's not a Fed program. It's a state program, right?
Right. I should call like Ted Cruz.
No, I mean, you would contact basically you could contact the courthouse just to see, how to get, through to somebody who might be able to look it up. And B, you could call the legislators group, at the state level and see if they have anybody that can direct you to where to find the law.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I will do that then, Walter. If I still need you, how would I go about this?
Mm-hmm. So what you do is you just reach out, you shoot me an email and say, hey, I want to do the 1-hour consultation. And then I send you basically the little mini contract. You fill it out, you send the payment, then we put you on the hearing docket calendar. And then basically we do the hour. But before I do the hour, send me over the document. And then when we start the hour, I'll go through it and start to review it and figure out what you need to watch out for. And remember, in law, sometimes there's not an answer. Sometimes it's one of those things of here's what you're going to go ahead and argue, pertaining to this. So, just kind of keep in mind, yeah. So this might be one of those situations where, at the end of the day, there might not be a simple, straightforward, definitive answer. And as a result,
and I'll need an argument.
Right. Exactly.
Because not knowing it doesn't.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's not fun. No, for sure. No doubt about it.
No.
So.
And that's a scary situation because you're under their control.
Yeah. And then they can potentially come back and say, you owe us this chunk of money. And that chunk of money could be huge and could be very unexpected.
I know. And that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
So I just call somebody at the state and go from there.
Yep. Get them on board, get it rolling, get them on the phone, find out specifically when it was passed, get the documentation, do one of those 1-hour consultations. I'll read through it. And then I'll give you a list of your arguments to be made to the SSA in case there is an issue.
Right. I'll probably be in jail before then if it's against the law, though.
Now, they won't come after you for jail. They'll just come after you for money. Because, remember, at the same time,
you know what I'm saying, though. Like, I call up there, they're going to want to know who I am. And
well, I mean,
that's
the thing is this. You don't always have to share your name with stuff, but you can start to ask questions. You can even tell them that you prefer not to share your name. You just want to learn about a particular law.
Okay, and they won't trace my phone number.
I mean, you can call them anonymously and do that whole gig, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to buy a burner phone. Okay.
You could. Yeah, absolutely.
I think I will.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you, Walter, and I'll let you know if I need you.
Excellent, good sir. Sounds good. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
All right, you too.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and take the next call real quick. Speakerphone is on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Yes, I was calling. My sister gets disability. It's SSDI, and she gets a $40 or $45 check on SSI.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a child that's 14. Would she be able to get benefits for the child?
It depends on auxiliary benefit options. My recommendation is call the field office because you're not going to be able to tell me all of the quarters of coverage she has, where she's worked, how much she's earned, if there's any, additional benefit. So bottom line is just call the local field office and ask them, are auxiliary child benefits available? And obviously they're going to be expecting to speak to the daughter unless you've submitted to them ahead of time, basically, some sort of power of attorney. But are the children eligible for auxiliary benefits? And I would just hit them with that and find out, because at the end of the day, bottom line is they're going to want to, they'll look into it and figure it out from there. Yeah.
She has like 37 of the 40 credits.
Yeah, but keep in mind, how old is she?
41.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would call the local field office and just ask them if the child has any auxiliary benefits that are due, because they click a couple buttons in their system and it'll tell them whether or not the child is eligible.
Okay, they said that since she received the $40 in SSI, that the child wasn't eligible.
It's possible, because remember, the auxiliary benefits, it's not meant to be poverty attached to poverty program. It's meant to be Title II attachment. You know what I mean? But I guess my question to you is, because she's partly SSDI, right?
Right. Well, majorly. Most of it's SSDI.
Most of it's SSDI.
The majority of it.
Because keep in mind, if she were to not take the SSI and opt into not taking the SSI, how much would the child get? If the child ends up with a $400 check, then you opt out of SSI and opt into child auxiliary benefit attachment. Now, is the other parent
a better option?
I don't know. Because remember, I don't know all of her stats. Like when people call in, they're like, "What do we do?" And I don't know. And you're not even the person that's the mother. You know what I mean? That's the kicker, right? So call them up and ask them what your options are for obtaining child auxiliary benefits, and if she can withdraw from one SSI program and still have an access option for it.
They automatically shut her down right away. No, didn't even look on the computer system. They said, you get SSI? No.
Right. So I'd call back, and if they still give you an issue, ask for a manager and kind of go from there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, does that go back to when she began drawing, or would it just start from the day that she asked them about it?
I had this question literally the last time I went live. Do auxiliary benefits go to the initial approval? And I think they do, but I don't do auxiliary benefits. So you got to understand, these are kid benefits that are attached after I do my job. This all comes in after the fact. Yeah. So I'm not totally sure how they would apply it, but since she was already on, SSI for that period, she probably created an eligibility issue. So I don't know. We'd have to see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. I'll catch you later. You too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, we're going to take one more caller, and I'm definitely going to have to look up child auxiliary benefits because that is like the hot new ticket for a lot of people. We're going to take one more caller. I'm going to go ahead and just click the last person who called in, click them on. Let me see if I can get them on, and then that'll be the last caller of the night, and then I'm heading to bed. Indeed, indeed. Let's see what we get here. Let's see if we can get a caller in. Let's see if we can get him on the phone. Are we getting him on the phone? Yes, we are. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Howdy. We're Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Yes, I'm trying to get on SSI, and I was told that I can't get on SSI unless I see a chiropractor or a physical therapist or some person that can assist me with getting better with my scoliosis. But the chiropractors that I see and the physical therapists that I've seen, as well as the specialists, they've all said that my spine isn't going to get better.
So wait, why aren't you willing to see their doctor, their CEME?
I don't understand what.
Well, they're saying you have to go to their chiropractor, right? And you already have a chiropractor.
Well, I'm on Medi-Cal.
So, okay, so you already have doctors you're going to, correct?
There's a doctor that I'm seeing, yes. But they won't approve me for SSI because they keep saying that they feel that I can work 6 to 8 hours. And
okay, so that's different. So what that is that you're getting denied for severity purposes. So that's a different gig. They're saying you're not severe enough.
But my scoliosis is severe because even though they say that my scoliosis isn't severe, the specialists, they say that it is. And it's the Medi-Cal doctors that keep saying that it's not.
Yeah, well, okay, so, I mean, you have a battle of the experts, not uncommon. Which attorney is working the claim?
Oh, I don't have an attorney. Because whenever I call a disability attorney, they said that they won't take my case unless I see like a chiropractor or a physical therapist, and that my doctor has to approve.
And that your doctor has to approve of your SSI?
Yeah.
No. Wait, what is your current age?
I'm 57.
So you're saying a lot of things that are wrong all in a row, which is confusing me because normally people get one thing wrong. You can hire an attorney can take you for representation. You can use your doctors to bolster the likelihood of an approval. You are going to have to go to the SSA doctor unless they give you a variance to use some other doctor, potentially including yours. There has to be a really good reason for that. So when you say you're really bad, let me just ask you some basic questions to figure out on the spectrum of potentially where you're at, how bad you actually are. Okay, so are you currently prescribed a wheelchair or a seated walker?
No, they refuse to prescribe me like a walker.
Okay.
But I have to use I use a what do they call it, those carts to get around because I really can't walk without one of those.
Okay. So next question, have you been prescribed a cane, crutch, rollate, or anything like that?
No, they refuse to prescribe me anything.
Okay, so that means the doctors don't see you, you know what I mean, as being that severe that you would need them. So next question, have you had any surgeries within the past 3 years?
No, but they want me to. They want to open up my back and do something into my spine to straighten up my spine.
Okay, so when are they scheduling that surgery?
No, that's what they want to do, but I don't want a surgery done. Surgery is terrifying me.
Okay. So have you been into the emergency room as a drop risk where you've fallen and they had to do a bunch of medical treatment on you as a result of your back being an issue?
Well, I've been paralyzed from the waist down 4 times. I've had to go to the emergency room
hmm
because of that.
When was the last time you were at the emergency room?
Oh gosh. I hmm, I want to say like around 2016.
All right. So realistically, I can tell right off the bat the severity levels that they're looking for, the listing levels, stuff like that. Some of the basic things that they normally look for are not in the file. So how many denials have you received so far?
Oh gosh. Probably about
Just hit me with it. Yeah.
probably around either around 10 or less, a little less than 10.
Okay.
Maybe like 9 or 8. I don't.
Okay.
This has been funny.
All right. So basically, who's been paying for you to exist, over the past 10 to 15 years that you've been applying?
What do you mean?
Well, over the past 10 to 15 years, you've basically not been working, right?
Well, I mean, I was married, but I divorced. So,
But just answer the question as it is. Like over the past 10 to 15 years, when did you stop working a job?
when I was like 21.
Okay, so how have you been surviving? It's one of Elon's rockets is going up. When did you? When did you get a divorce?
In 2007.
2007. So how have you been affording to live since then? Has it just been all alimony, or?
Well, actually, it's from my daughter's SSI
Okay.
and child support.
And child support. Okay. So, all right. I don't know what all of your potential income options or resource options are. So, when you contact the SSA, are you receiving things that put you over the income or resource limits of SSI?
No.
Okay. So, okay. So your only option is SSI at this point. So, and there's no alimony, correct?
No.
Okay. How much child support are you being paid currently?
It's like 200 and something.
All right, so that's low.
Yeah.
So a portion of that is used, usually calculated against you and the child for SSI resource limitation purposes. All right, so what we have here is somebody who's never really worked, who needs to go on SSI, who's not severe enough for listing level criteria, which means you're stuck with a grid out or vocational allowance. How old is the child?
She's 16.
All right, so you got a kid there. That's 16. You're running out of years before the child support ends. So, is the child on SSI? I think you said the child's on SSI.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to go on SSI. I mean, why didn't you hire an attorney to work on this?
I don't have money to hire an attorney.
Yeah, but they don't get paid by you. They get paid by the SSA from back pay.
What?
Yeah, that's how it works. Disability attorneys get paid by the SSA. They get paid from the back pay. The months you're waiting, which you should have received, benefits, they get paid 25% of the back pay of those benefits for SSI. So you got a lot of wrong information going on from somebody. I don't know. So just to clarify, you should be filing, you should be appealing, you should be building the claim. You should have those types of doctors that would give good physical information in letter form and RFC assessments. You should be going to the SSA doctor to go ahead and have a physical assessment so that they can complete what's called their consultative examination medical expert appointment. And basically, with this type of claim, you should have an attorney to go ahead and work on, obtaining for you, which is essentially, a vocational allowance. And you have no work history that's countable. It's outside of the 5-year. It's way past, what even the old thing was, which was the 15-year. You have no work skills that are transferable. What's your highest level of education?
High school.
Yeah. So you don't have to hire me, but go find an attorney to work on this, to go try and get you a vocational allowance. Yeah.
How much are the attorneys for something like this?
You don't pay them.
Oh.
They're paid for by the SSA. The only thing you pay is when they win you your benefits, the SSA pays them their 25% of the back pay, and then you pay them their costs, which is, buying medical records, mailing things to you, mailing things to the SSA. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Because the attorney that I spoke to, he said that I wouldn't have to pay him unless he won. But then on his paperwork that he sent me, it says in there that even if they lose, that I still have to pay them.
No. So the way it works is so if he wins and there's no back pay, then he gets a fee. Then you agree to pay him, a fee of usually $1,800. That's if you win. But if there's no back pay, you still owe him. But if you win and there's back pay, then he gets 25% of the back pay. If he doesn't win, he doesn't get paid. It's all by statute across federal. It's not state-based. So there's no modifying those rules.
So I have to pay him? Are you saying?
If he wins.
Not SSI.
I'm a little confused because you keep saying things that are like, all right, if you win SSI benefits, you will owe him 25% of the back pay, which the SSA automatically withholds and then pays directly to the attorney. So you don't ever see the money. You never have the money. It's automatically paid from the SSA. The SSA pays the attorney.
Yeah, but is there any out of pocket for me?
Yes.
To pay the attorney?
Yes. Costs. Yes. The costs. The costs for most attorneys nowadays are between $0 and $100. That's for buying medical records. That's for basically mailing things to you, to the SSA, stuff like that.
Okay. And the highest amount is $100?
No, it's not the highest. It just could be that. It could be that. Yeah.
Oh.
That's the rocket. Yeah. That's the rocket. Mm-hmm. Look, if he has to buy your medical records with a HIPAA, where he gets the actual pages and they charge $1 per page, it could be thousands of dollars, because then he had to pay, $1 per page for thousands of pages of medical records. But most attorneys don't do that anymore. Nowadays, what happens is the attorneys use what's called a high tech, and they have the medical records sent directly to the claimant, and then the claimant hands them over to the attorney. And then it's like $15 to buy the entire medical record for that facility.
So that's how much I would have to pay him.
If he won the benefits, you'd have to pay him back for the purchase of the medical records and also the shipping. But it doesn't matter. You just got handed a chunk of money. You just got a chunk of back pay. So you're not worried about $100,
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would I go about, because of what I'm telling you, how would I go about